So sustainable design and green architecture. So the outline of this topic is not the natural environment, sustainable architecture, and green architecture. So we have 3 topics to be discussed today. So the natural environment. So the physical environment is composed of 2 parts, which is the natural and the built environment. So the natural environment are places and geographical features such as mountains, valleys, and oceans, in addition to the environmental conditions such as temperature and rainfall. So the natural environment is the surroundings that we see, so and we use. So those are the natural habitats of animals and people. So like the mountains, the plains, the valleys, the ocean, the rivers, so those are the natural environment. So the built environment is the results of people's alteration of the environment, such as homes, cities, and communities. So the built environment is the buildings, the cities, the barrios, the towns, the habitats of people, the churches, so the public buildings, those are the built environment. Even the landscapings that we create or we design are the part of the built environment. So what is sustainable architecture? Sustainable architecture is an effort to minimize the negative environmental impact of the building, such as by using specific materials, energy, and development space through strict moderation and efficiency. So ang purpose ng sustainable architecture is to minimize the impact of the development to the environment. So para hindi masira yung environment, kahit nag-develop ka na, if you develop something on a particular land or area or lot or community or vicinity, it will not create a negative impact on that area. Okay? So, and you are using material that are energy efficient, sustainable, that you can repair, replace, and it is the materials that you are using are used in moderation. So what is sustainable? Able to maintain at a certain rate or level. So kasi pagka hindi siya sustainable, hindi mo na siya mare-repair o hindi mo siya ma-maintain o hindi ka pwede mag-reproduce ng same material. So hindi na siya sustainable. Conserving an ecological balance by avoiding depletion of natural resources. Kasi pag hindi na nagre-regenerate yung material na kinukonsume mo, hindi na siya sustainable. Let's say gumamit ka ng kapareho ng oil, hindi naman yung oil kasi pwede siyang ma-deplete, di ba? So pag hindi naman nagpo-produce, hindi ka naman pwede mag-produce ng oil, di ba? Hindi ka pareho ng plants, Kapag nagtanim ka ng plants, pwede ka pag ginamit mo yung plants, pwede ka magtanim ulit, di ba? So it's sustainable, di ba? So kapareho ng water, if you can reuse water, you can create a process para magamit mo ulit yung water, so that's sustainable use of material. Pero hindi mo kailangan ubusin yung tubig kasi pag na-deplete na yung water, hindi sustainable yung methodology mo sa paggamit ng water. Okay, so need for sustainable architecture. Architecture is an essential arena for sustainable innovation. Our homes are one of the most important assets of our life. Our world needs help gaining popularity on that list. With the help of sustainable architecture and green design, you can successfully meld beauty and functionality together to save our planet from us. So the designers are the people that will help build sustainable structures or facilities. So we should bear in mind that we need to create buildings that will not cause harm to the community or to the environment. So there's a need for sustainable architecture because the population is increasing every day. So padami ang tao. So we need to be aware that if we will not take care of the environment,
because of the growth of population, darating ang panahon wala na tayong pwedeng magamit, no? There will be a time that available material will not be available anymore because of the overuse of that particular type of natural materials from the environment. So peoples are migrating from rural to urban with hope, no? Isa pa yun sa problema ng population growth, no? People from the provinces migrate to the urban areas, yung mga galing sa rural areas pupunta sa urban areas, and it will definitely congest, no, the urban areas. Dadami ang tao rito, no? So congested ng urban areas, and pag na-congest ang urban areas, there will be a problem of overpopulation and overconsumption of the natural resources. So kapag dumami ang tao sa Metro Manila or sa Metro Davao, Metro Cebu, ang mangyayari nito, yung water doon kukulangin, yung kuryente kukulangin, di ba? So kapareho sa Metro Manila, palagi nagba-brown out or black out in cases na nandun tayo sa summer area because sa dami ng tao, maraming gumagamit ng kuryente, marami rin gumagamit ng tubig. So those are problems of migration and overpopulation. So depletion of natural resources. Dahil nga sa sobrang dami na ng population, sobrang ng users, hindi na kayang i-provide ng natural resources yung pangangailangan. Kapareho nung unang panahon, if you are living in Metro Manila or the National Capital Region, in even some areas in nearby cities in Manila, in National Capital Region, pwede ka pang makakuha ng water, ng clean water sa deep well, no? Makakakuha ka pa ng clean water sa deep well. Ngayon hindi na. If you dig a well, hindi na malinis yung tubig na makukuha mo sa well, no? Kasi nga depleted na yung clean water na available doon sa ating under subsurface clean water. So na-deplete na natin kasi sa dami ng tao sa Metro Manila. And because of pollution, no? Because of dumping of garbage and pollution, liquid pollution to the ground. So nagtatapon tayo na kung ano sa lupa, ano? So yung ating tubig sa ilalim ng lupa, hindi na siya ganun kalinis. High energy and natural resources are consumed due to huge population. Kaya nga pagka there's a time of the year na talagang nawawalan tayo ng kuryente sa tubig dahil nga sa dami ng tao doon sa population, sa community. Alam niyo ba ang Pilipinas is I think it's number 14 or 13 or 12 sa dami ng tao sa buong mundo, no? So we are on the top 12 or 13, no? Hindi naman siya sa top 10, no? We are near the top 10, no? So sa liit ng ating bansa pero ang dami ng population natin. So that's the problem, no? Effects on biodiversity. So, kasi nga sa sobrang paggamit natin ng natural resources, it also has an effect to that biodiversity. Nawawalan din kung putol ng puno, nawawalan ng tirahan yung mga ibon, no? Kung overfishing tayo, nawawalan na tayo ng darating ang time, wala na tayong makukuhang isda, di ba? Kung hindi tayo magre-raise ng ating mga animals, no, para makain, darating ang time, wala na tayong makakain na animals or ng mga chicken, pork, no, beef, no, wala na kasi nga mauubos na yan, no. So magkakaroon ng kakulangan ng pagkain kasi nga wala na silang matirahan, no. Kaya gagawin natin, we will raise it by farming, no. Magkakaroon tayo ng mga farm. Hindi na siya yung naturally raised animals, no. Wala nang ganoon. So baka magkaroon din ng extinct na mga species, no, dahil nga sa kakulangan na ng areas kung saan sila pwedeng mabuhay. So yeah, the society, the environment, and the economy should be working hand in hand, no? Should have what you call this, a balance, no? A balance. We should have a balanced society, a balanced environment, no? And the economy also has an effect to the environment, no? May epektong economy sa environment, meron ding epektong society sa environment, and so on, no? So in this data, so talagang nag-i-interact yan lahat yan. It's all interconnected, itong tatlo na to. And
people are the one moving these three things, no? Ang tao, di ba? Tao, the human beings, no? And we are the one building the built environment. We are the one using the built environment. So if we have overgrowth, no? Pag masyadong mabilis ang pag-grow na economy, nakaka-epekto yan sa environment and sa society. So psychologically, it also has an effect to the society, yung equity, stability, no? Kasi pag masyadong bumilis ang pagyaman ng isang bansa, natural diyan na mayroong maiiwan na population that will have an effect to the society. Alam niyo ba, pag tiningnan niyo ngayon, even in other countries, even in the US, there are people that are living on the streets, no? Meron na kapareho sa Pilipinas, no? So talagang nagkakaroon na ngayon hindi na balance ang society ngayon. Marami nang mahirap at maraming sobrang mayaman, no? So ito may epekto rin to dahil sa overpopulation, overdevelopment or minsan underdevelopment. So ang epekto nito, people are living in the streets and they are now consuming, no, the things that are around them, no? Yung hindi na kasi pag nakatira ka sa karsada, no, nagtatapon ka ng basura nang hindi mo na siya nare-regulate kasi they are living on the streets, no? Kapareho ng mga squatters, di ba? So nagkaroon ng hindi balancing economy, dumami ang squatters. So yung squatters naman o yung mga nakatira sa mga homeless, no, yung mga nakatira sa slums, no, they are not aware of, they are not responsible in throwing their garbage or in cleanliness, no? So nakakaepekto siya sa environment, no? Nakakaepekto yan sa biodiversity kasi nasisira nila yung paligid, di ba? Kapag tinirhan ng mga squatters or slum ang city, nakatira sila sa karsada, tapon sila ng tapon ng basura kung saan-saan, then kapag nag-ulan, babaha tayo kasi yung mga basura nila magka-clog yung drainage, no? So it has an effect to the community, to the society, no? Ganun din kapag nakatira sila sa tabi ng ilog, tapon sila ng tapon, mamamatay yung mga isda, no? Wala na mga isda sa ilog, no? So that's the problem of overpopulation, overgrowth, overdevelopment, no? So kailangan talaga balance. Kaya nga ang pagpaplano should be sustainable planning. So kailangan there should be a person or a community or an office or a movement that will help the growth of a community with sustainable concept, no? Kailangan meron kang tamang konsepto kung paano mo papagalawin, bibigyan ng development ng community. Hindi lang basta tayo ka ng tayo, no? Kasi pag tayo ka ng tayo ng mga buildings o kaya you don't consider what will happen. So that will be a problem. Kaya nga sa Pilipinas, if you want to build something, you need to secure an environmental compliance certificate, no? Tapos gagawa ka ng environmental impact analysis so that you can prove to the government that what you are building will not harm the community. So benefits of sustainable architecture, environmental benefit, economic benefit, and health and community. Parang explain ko kanina, it's also related to our topic on the previous slides, no? So if you create a sustainable architecture, it will give benefit to the environment, it will give benefit to the economy, and it will create a healthy and sustainable community. Diba? So kapag maganda ang development ng isang community, healthy yung mga tao, di ba? Kasi bibigyan mo sila ng tamang quality of air, quality of life, di ba? Amount of sunshine, di ba? So that is a healthy community. If you were that there will be a time that you will be buying your own houses, di ba? And you will be selecting where you want to live, di ba? Kayo mismo, you will be have an opportunity to move out of your house right now and you will be selecting a community where you want to live, di ba? Ikaw ang pipili niyan, you have the choice, no? So, gusto mo bang tumira sa isang lugar na hindi healthy ang community, hindi safe, di ba? Hindi nakaplano ng maayos ang community. All of us wants to live in a good community where it's where you will be raising your future kids or your future families, di ba? So gusto mo maganda yung paligid na kanyang kalalakihan, di ba? So building communities that promotes sustainability and green will promote better society, no? Magkakaroon ka ng mas magandang produkto ng mga society o ng mga tao, di ba? Kasi mas masasaya sila, di ba? So yun yung epekto nun. So principles of sustainable architecture. So ito yung mga ibang principles, no? Yung small is beautiful, heat with the sun, let nature cool food, di ba? Energy efficient, conserve water, use of local materials, use of natural materials, save the forest, recycle materials, build to last, grow your food, share facilities. Ito yung mga principles na pwede mong gamitin if you are thinking of using principles of sustainability. You can use these principles and then put it in your design concept, di ba? You can use these principles in your design concept, di ba? Like you can grow your food in your own building, di ba? Kung you are building let's say you are building a high-rise building for a new community in let's say in Quezon City. Meron ka isang community gagawin sa Quezon City and you will build a high-rise building. But your concept is that they will grow their own food. They have the opportunity to plant and then grow food, no? Pwede sila magtanim ng kamatis, okra, talong, di ba? Talbos ng kamote. They can grow their own food. So you are promoting sustainability in your design, di ba? Mas naka-focus yung design mo because you are focused on growing food on your building. Or even energy efficiency. You can put maybe 3 or 4 of these principles in your design, and then you can create your own design concept, no? That is what this enumeration is about, no? And actually marami pang ibang concept ng sustainable. I'm just enumerating some of these. Pero marami pang ibang concept na pwede niyo gamitin in creating your design concept, no? Like yung halimbawa meron kang development, let's say sa Quezon or sa Baler na merong mga forest, di ba? So tapos may mga puno na marami. So you are building something that on that area. Your principle of design is save the forest. I will build something on this area but I will save the forest. Hindi ko gagalawin yung forest. I will cut minimum trees enough to save the forest and enough to build something. So that is sustainable architecture. Hindi mo puputulin lahat yung puno, di ba? Magtitira ka ng puno para nandun pa rin yung forest dun sa area mo, and then you will create a small building or a tall building para hindi masira yung forest mo. Di ba? Isipin mo na lang, ang laki ng binigay sa yung lupa, ang ginawa mo pinutol mo lahat yung puno. Pwede namang magputol ka lang ng konting puno, magtayo ka ng high-rise, andun pa rin yung forest. Diba? Hindi mo nasira yung forest. Andun pa rin yung forest pero meron ka isang mataas na building. Ngayon, pag nakatira ka sa building, you are looking down the forest. Diba? So that's also a principle of sustainability. No? So mga sample lang naman na pwede natin gamitin yan. So promote and protect ecosystem and biodiversity. No? Kapag nasa picture natin ito, no? Yung hindi niya sinira yung community, hindi niya sinira yung mga puno. No? He is building something above, no? Above the river, and cut minimum number of trees, and it protects the biodiversity of the lot, no? Andun pa rin yung mga ibon, andun pa rin yung mga insects, andun pa rin yung mga animals, pero nandun yung kanyang building, no? Nakatayo siya doon. Merong isang modern building pero hindi nasira yung biodiversity of the site, no? Improve the quality of the surrounding environment, air and water. Biro mo, napakaganda, nakatira ka sa isang environment na protect mo yung mga puno. At the same time nakatira ka doon, you can go out in the morning and then feel the nature around you. Hindi mo sinira kasi yung paligid mo, no? The nature is still there, and you are living with the nature, no? And you can now introduce, no, energy conservation principles in your design, di ba? Siyempre, andito ka na sa isang environment that you should not you should protect. Then you can create your own energy from that environment. You can harvest air, harvest light, harvest water, di ba? Tapos pwedeng with a minimal use, no? Minimal use lang, yung para sa iyo lang, hindi mo siya uubusin, no? So there are other what you call this regulatory bodies, no, that regulates sustainable and green buildings. According to US Green Building Council, so use 26% of less energy, cost 13% less to maintain, and have 27% higher occupant satisfaction, and produce 33% less greenhouse gases, no? So if you reduce your energy by 26%, your maintenance cost will be reduced by 13%, and you will have 27% higher occupant satisfaction. Mas masaya yung tao mo kasi kukunti ang energy consumption, and you have less areas to maintain, and you will produce less greenhouse gases, diba? So that's one principle of the US Green Building Council. So in economics, no, it reduces, if you use sustainable design or sustainable architecture, it reduces utility bills and operating costs. Kukunti babayaran mo kuryente, and you will give higher employee satisfaction and productivity. If you will introduce green buildings principle or sustainable principles in your building, it will make people happy, no, and it will make people more productive. Kung maganda ang indoor air quality, it will make people productive, no, kasi maganda yung quality of air. Kapag hindi maganda yung quality of air sa loob ng room, yung mga tao mabagal magtrabaho because of the lack of natural oxygen or of good quality of air, di ba? And a probability of selling the building in a higher cost, di ba? Kasi kung ang building mo is designed using green principle, pag binenta mo siya ulit, mas mahal ang value nun. Di ba? Mas mahal ang resale value kasi meron siyang green sustainability concept doon sa building mo. Okay? So, health and community, it improves air quality and temperature regulation. Kapag maganda ang pag-develop mo, it reduces the temperature. It lowers down the temperature of that particular site, no? Kapag paligiran ka ng puno, it will lower the temperature of your building. It reduces burn on infrastructure, and it produces higher quality of life. Mas gusto ng tao na mabuhay sa ganitong community dahil nga it is cooler, mas malamig, magandang hangin, di ba? Maraming puno. So a lot of people will have a good quality of life. Renewable energy generations. Ano ba ibang pwede natin, paano tayo magre-renew ng energy? We can use solar panels, no? Active solar panels such as photovoltaic solar panels help to provide sustainable electricity for any use, no? Electrical output or solar panels is dependent on orientation. Kailangan maganda orientation. The efficiency and the latitude and climate solar gain varies even at the same latitude. So, minsan kasi every time, most of the time, the solar panels will not harvest a lot of energy, no, kung hindi maganda yung orientation. So you need to angle your solar panels 30 degrees south para maganda yung kanyang orientation sa sun. Hindi naman kailangan naka-expose, kasi kung nakatutok lang siya sa east or sa west, pagdating ng hapon wala na siyang exposure sa sun kasi nakatutok siya sa west, no? Pagdating ng hapon, pagdating ng ng other side of the path of the sun, wala na siyang araw kasi nasa lilim na siya. So pinakamaganda ilagay mo siya sa south, 30 degrees south, para even though umaga, tanghali, gabi, meron siyang exposure sa sunlight. Hindi naman siya directly exposed pero meron exposed siya sa sunlight. Meron siyang liwanag. Okay? A lot of technology are now available, no, for solar panels, no. There are a lot of new technologies, no. Meron tayong nakadikit na, if you can have a solar panel directly connected to the light bulb. You can have a solar panel directly connected to a battery, and then the battery is connected to a light bulb. No, maraming klaseng solar panels, maraming solar energy innovations na ngayon. And sa kagandahan ng technology, it's cheaper. Mas mura na ngayon ng solar panels, no? Ang dami nabibili ng mga solar panels that are attached to a bulb, no? Yung mga nabibili natin sa mga sa online or even sa mga depot na pwede mo ikabit na sa bahay mo, meron ka ng energy sa gabi, meron ka ng ilaw, no? May mura, may mahal, no? Maganda siya. It benefits you have a gain on using lesser electricity, and it will help you. You can have a building that is lighted during night time, no? Kasi nga gumagamit ka ng solar without using electricity na binabayaran, di ba? So you can also use sun tube light, no? Ito technology to, matagal na to, mga 19 early 90s pa tong sun tube light, no? From the sun is reflected directly inside the tube, and you can lighten up the whole room by sun tube light, no? As you can see, no, yung tube yung araw na kina-harvest ng sun tube, tapos dinadala siya dun sa loob ng building, like that one. So that's sun tube light. You can also use renewable energy generation like wind turbines, no? Ito yung nakikita natin sa Tanay, sa Ilocos, that those are wind turbines, no? And it harvests natural energy from wind. Okay? So those are also wind turbines, as you can see in the picture, and solar panels, no? These are wind turbines and solar panels in one. So it can be attached, it can be part of your architecture, di ba? Yung solar panels, no? Or you can harvest rainwater from the during rainy season, no? Pag maulan ng panahon, you can harvest rainwater and use them for gray water, no? Like this one, no? You can use gray water for washing clothes, no? For shower, kasi hindi naman siya madumi. Hindi mo lang siya pwedeng inumin, di ba? Pwede mo siyang gamitin pang shower, panghugas ng plato, no? But you need to filter it. You need to process it by filtration so that it's a gray water, no? Hindi iba kasi ang gray water sa potable water. Yung gray water is for domestic use. Potable water is for drinking. Okay? So some buildings have gray water lines, some building doesn't have gray water lines. So if you will promote gray water use, that is what you call sustainable, diba? Sustainable design, because you are harvesting water from the rain and then storing it and using it for other consumptions, no? Pwede siya pang dilig ng tanim, no? And you can use shading devices, no, para ma-lessen mo yung consumption of electricity sa loob ng building, kasi pag naka-expose yung mga kwarto mo sa sunlight, direct exposure to sunlight, nagko-consume siya ng maraming energy to cool the inside of the building. Mas malaki ang consumption mo ng aircon kasi nga naka-direct exposure yung windows, yung wall mo to sunlight. Kaya nga ginagawa natin ngayon, if that particular wall is exposed to direct sunlight, nilalagyan natin siya ng insulation para hindi mainit yung loob ng kwarto. Yung mga roof natin ngayon, di ba? We now put insulation to our roof, di ba? Para hindi mainit yung loob ng kwarto, kasi pag meron tayong conduction heat, no, nagta-transfer yung heat from the metal of the roof sheets, pupunta yan dun sa interstitial space of the ceiling and the roof, tapos magta-transfer yung heat directly to the plywood of your ceiling, and the ceiling will now emit, no, radiated heat to the room. So may radiation heat ka na papunta sa loob ng room. So init yung kwarto mo. So ang gagawin ngayon natin, lalagyan natin ng insulation para ma-prevent natin yung conduction heat na mag-transfer dun sa ating interstitial space, yung ating ceiling space. So ganoon din yung mga ginagawa natin sa mga bubong, no? At ganoon din yung ginagawa naman sa mga overhang ng ating mga bintana. Kailangan din natin ng shading. So pwede rin tayong gumamit ng solar water heating, no? We can harvest radiation heat from the sun and then use it to produce heated water, no? So magkakaroon ka ngayon ng solar water heating, no? So ito, maraming gumagamit ito sa Baguio, maraming gumagamit sa Tagaytay, no, ng mga solar water heating panels, no? So that they can use the energy from the sun and to have hot water. Okay. And then we can use recycled materials, no? We can harvest recycled materials and then make it to other materials like panel boards, hollow blocks, no? So a lot of things can be produced from recycled materials. Yung mga plastic pwedeng i-recycle yan, yung mga gulong, no? A lot of things, no? Pwedeng gawin siya mga plywood board, pwede siyang gawing flooring, pwedeng gawing partitions, no? So a lot of technology have been introduced using recycled materials. There are also what you call lead credit categories, no? If you want to be accredited as a LEED building or a green building, you need to achieve, no, these sustainable goals of the US Green Building Council. Sa Pilipinas ang tawag natin is BERDE. We have the BERDE Council, no. So there are what you call checklist or requirements for you to be certified as a LEED or BERDE building. No, so it is and the license or the accreditation as a LEED building also expires, no? Nag-expire yan, hindi pag naging LEED ka ngayon, you'll be LEED forever, no? So kailangan i-renew mo yung LEED accreditation mo. So you need to maintain and sustain your accreditation. Yun nga yung ano rito, objective dito is sustainability. You need to sustain your accreditation as a LEED building. So sa Pilipinas, meron tayong mga LEED buildings na nakatayo, di ba? Mga platinum LEED buildings. Marami na nagtayo ng LEED buildings sa Pilipinas. And these LEED buildings consume less energy and have less impact to the environment. So meron din tinatawag na BREEAM, no? That is also the same as LEED, no? Pero sa ibang country naman siya. At iba naman yung kanyang tinitingnan, no? Iba yung kanyang this is what you call a building research establishment environmental assessment method. So ito naman this is a research system, no, that will give you also an accreditation for LEED or sustainability, and this is also similar to the BERDE that we have in the Philippines. So what are the methods for achieving sustainable design? So we can have economy of resources, energy conservation, water conservation, materials conservation. We can also go to life cycle design in pre-building phase, building phase, post-building phase. We can also go to humane design, preservation of the natural condition, urban design and site planning, design for human comfort. So marami kang pwedeng puntahan. You have different goals, no, to be sustainable. Hindi lang yung pagiging green na paggamit ng energy, natural energies. There are other goals, no, like goals for human comfort, di ba? Pwede rin yun maging green. Hindi lang yung paglalagay ng solar panel ang green, no? If you preserve the natural condition of the site, that is also green. If you designed for comfort of humans inside that particular building, that is also green. Okay? So yun lang yun, no? Economy of resources by economizing resources, the architect reduces the non-renewable resources in the construction and operations of building. Kapag gumagawa during construction, if you are using the principles of green methodology of construction, that is also promoting green architecture or sustainable architecture. Diba? Kapag gumagamit ka ng mga materials that are renewables, no, sa iyong pagtatayo ng building, that is what you call green architecture. Kapareho, pag gumagamit ka ng mga let's say gumagamit ka ng mga recycled spacer dun sa concrete spacer mo, recycled spacer, that is green architecture. Pag gumagamit ka ng mga panels that are made from recycled materials, those are green architecture. Pag ginagamit mo sa construction, okay, gumagamit ka ng mga formworks that are made from recycled materials, that is also green architecture. So there is also a principle like you call life cycle design. No? This is cradle to grave approach recognizes environmental consequences of the entire life cycle of architectural resources. This is from the design to the construction, operation, and then to the demolition. So that is life cycle design. If you design something and you consider that it will be demolished afterwards, and you are thinking of reusing that particular building that you are building right now, that is what you call life cycle design. No? Let's say nag-design ka ng isang kapareho nung ginagawa namin ngayon na isang facility. We are thinking that the equipment, the furnitures, the partition, the air conditioning that we will use inside that particular building, we can use it when they move to another area, because everything that we will put inside that building is all modular and collapsible. That is what you call life cycle design. You are thinking that everything that you will use now can be reused afterwards because of the specification and the methodology of construction that you are introducing. It can be reused or it can be dismantled and then turned into another part of the building. Pwedeng ganoon ang life cycle design. No? That is also part of a green and sustainable design. Wala pa ako I haven't seen a thesis like this in Mapua, yung life cycle design thesis, no. But this is a good topic, no, life cycle design topic. Yeah, okay. So how to achieve sustainable design? So sabi ko nga kanina, energy efficiency, small is good, passive design, active solar design, high levels of insulation, efficient heating of air and water, thermal mass, ventilation, efficient lighting. That is all for energy efficiency. No? Another one is waste management through design in modules, recycling while buildings, gray water system, low flow taps and showers. No? Ito yung mga waste management. So you are recycling the energy that you are using and use it to other uses. No? Kapareho ng water. If you use tap water and you recycle it to gray water, that is waste management, di ba? So, yung gray water na yung ginamit mong tubig sa pag-flush ng toilet mo, kinonvert mo siya sa gray water, that is waste management, sustainable design. Okay? Another is yung kapareho naman ng ventilation. If you are using natural ventilation in your building, that is what you call energy efficiency. If you are putting high levels of insulation, that is energy efficiency. Kapag nilagyan mo ng insulation yung building mo para hindi mag-consume para hindi pumasok yung radiation heat, no? Galing sa conduction heat sa labas. So that is what you call high levels of insulation. Tapos you can use also building materials that is using renewable and non-toxic materials, use of recyclable and recycled materials, and locally sourced to reduce transport. Another one of sustainable design is locally sourced product. If you are using products that are within the community, that is what you call sustainable design, because you are reducing the energy to transport your product to your place. That is what you call sustainable. Kasi pag gumamit ka ng materials that are not available in your community, no, that is imported. And if it's imported, you will use energy to import that material to your site. So that is not sustainable, di ba? Kasi you are using energy. And if you are buying, let's say if you are buying wood from the community, that is sustainable. So energy design strategies, no, optimize building envelope, minimize demand through serious conservation and supply of energy with maximum efficiency, and using renewable site microclimate, energy conservation, passive solar heating, passive cooling and natural ventilation, daylighting, and renewable resources. So the spectrum is using traditional vernacular sustainability by default, no? And existing architecture made more sustainable. If you have a existing building and you will reuse it to another purpose, that is sustainable design because you are repurposing or reusing that particular building. That's sustainability. Environmental determinism, symbiotic relationship with the environment. If you are building something in harmony with the environment, that is symbiotic, sustainable design. And the strategies are available. You know, there's a lot of strategies that are available in pursuing sustainable design. Okay, so in creating buildings, no, bear in mind that you can be sustainable in designing your buildings, no. Kahit hindi hinihingi yan, even hindi hinihingi ng design ng contractor o hindi hinihingi ng owner, hindi hinihingi ng problem, if you will be thinking of sustainability, you are helping the environment and you are helping yourself because you are the one living in that environment, no. So in terms of indoor air quality, it will create comfort to the people using that particular room or that particular building, no. So it will be safe for people inside that building because of the good indoor air quality. It will reduce pollutants, no. It will have a great have a good air quality, comfortable temperature inside. So those are part of sustainability, good indoor air quality, indoor environmental quality, no? Indoor air quality, no? So sustainable materials for indoor air, sustainable materials include sustainable resources, extraction, processing, manufacture, embodied energy, transport, assembly, life cycle maintenance, emission, recycling, deposital, and non-composite material. These are also type of sustainable building materials, no. These are methodology on how to think of using sustainable materials and try to evaluate the materials based on life cycle maintenance, try to evaluate materials based on sustainable resources. Let's say, saan ba galing itong material na to? Kinuha ba to sa sustainable ba yung pinagkuhanan ng materials na to? So those are things that you should think about, no? Pagka nakaka-harm sa environment yung materials yan, huwag mo na siyang bibilin, di ba? And kung masyado siyang magastos para i-transport, think of a way na makatipid ka sa transport. So that's sustainability. All you need to do is document everything. No? If you are planning to create a green building or sustainable building and have it certified by LEED or BREEAM or Verde, you need to document every step of the way how you created that building so that you can. And documentation is taking pictures, and then that will be part of your evaluation to be LEED or green. Sustainable materials like engineered wood, sustainable lumber, reused wood, recycled manufactured materials, no, long life and low maintenance materials, low energy materials, recycled alternative construction system. So these are materials that are produced from let's say you have a building that was dismantled, no? Tapos yung building na yung made of wood. You can use that wood and make it doors, use it as flooring, use it as columns of the building that you will be built. So that is what you call reuse of wood, no? Or kaya naman is use certified sustainable lumber, no? or use like fast-growing materials like bamboo flooring. So a lot of materials that are sustainable, you can introduce that in your design. No? Kailangan lang talaga, you need to specify it. No? You need to identify what are the materials that you are using. In presenting a sustainable and green building, you need to create a good detailed specification so that the people that will read your design will be technically informed what part of your building are green and sustainable. Kailangan ma-inform mo sila, di ba? So kailangan gumawa ka ng mga details, gumawa ka ng mga specs, gumawa ka ng mga drawings that will show that these parts of my buildings are made from sustainable materials. Okay? That will be the appreciation of the people that will be reading your design. Diba? Yun yung appreciation niya. Doon niya ma-appreciate yung kanyang ma-appreciate yung ginawa mo na ito pala yung mga green materials na nilagay niya. Dito pala niya nilagay. So that's part of the presentation. No? Okay, let's go to the other half of the lecture, which is green architecture. So what is the green building? Green building refers to a structure and using process that is environmentally responsible and resource efficient throughout a building's life cycle, from seeking to design, construction, operation, maintenance, renovation, and demolition. Green building, also known as sustainable or high-performance building, increases the efficiency with which buildings and their sites use and harvest energy, waters, and material. Okay, so yung green building is also known as sustainable and high-performance building. No? So yung kaninang topic natin, we will now focus it and put it into a building in particular. What are the parts of the building that should be that we will design that it can be called a green building. Green building are designed to reduce the overall impact of the built environment on human health and natural environment, efficiently using energy, water, and other resources, and to develop its own resources. Nagpo-produce ng sarili niyang energy, di ba? O kaya gumagamit siya efficiently ng kanyang water o ng kanyang electricity. Protecting occupants' health and improving employees' productivity. So ikaw mismo, gumagawa ka ng paraan para yung mga tao mo sa loob ng building maproteksyonan mo sila from the outside environment. Yung heat, thermal heat, water from the outside environment, even viruses or bacteria from the outside environment. Hindi mo pinapapasok sa building mo. That is also green building, di ba? Pagka naproteksyonan mo yung health and health of the people inside the building, that is green building. Reducing waste, pollution, and environmental degradation. So green architecture and green design, no, these are the different classification. The green architecture defines and understands of environmental friendly architecture under all classification and contains some universal consent. It may have one of these many characteristics. No? Kasi pag nakita mo itong mga characteristics na to, you are pursuing to green architecture or green building design. So you need to introduce these characteristics in your building to be called a green building or a sustainable or high performance building. So it should use alternate power source, no? It should use non-toxic, non-synthetic material. It is adaptive reuse to older buildings. It's efficient use of space. So ito isang part nito ng green architecture, no? Kailangan efficient use of space. Kailangan tama yung pagkakaplano mo. You are not wasting space on your plan, di ba? That is green design. If you are wasting space, that is not green design. If you have a room that has no name, that is not sustainable, di ba? So, paano ka magpe-present ng isang green building if you are wasting space, di ba? If you are wasting a lot of rooms that have no names or there's a big lobby that have no purpose. That is not green design. No? You need to maximize the whole area, diba? So that it can be called a green and sustainable. Okay. Okay. Goals of green building. Green building emphasizes the use of renewable energy sources. Green building brings together a vast array of practices, techniques, and skills to reduce ultimately eliminate the impacts of buildings on the environment and human health, no? So binabawasan mo o tinatanggal mo yung impact of that negative impact of that building to the environment. Binatanggal mo din yung negative impact of that building to the people. Halimbawa, mayroon ka isang room, sobrang init, magkakasakit yung tao sa loob. That's a responsible, sustainable design, no? You need to give thermal comfort to the users. O kaya naman, mali yung design mo ng room na yung mga tao ay naliligaw dun sa building, di ba? So that's not green, no? Because you are wasting energy, di ba? Yung tao paakyat baba, sakay ng elevator kasi naligaw na sa building mo. That's not green design, no? You are wasting energy, okay? A building should be structured, design efficient, energy efficient, water efficient, material efficient, indoor environmental quality enhanced, operation and maintenance optimization, and waste and toxic reducing. So yung this is how to make your building green. This is a picture taken from the internet, no, from www.eia.in, no. So these are the different parts of the building that shows that these are included in this building so that it can be called a green building, di ba? So they included rainwater harvesting, solar panel, no? Meron siyang considering the orientation of the rooms, no? Wind turbines, no? Rain gardens, high efficiency insulated glass. So those are parts of the building that promotes, no, green architecture. Types of green and sustainable buildings, we have homes, school, commercial buildings, public buildings, laboratories, healthcare facilities. Those buildings are aiming for green and sustainable, no? Commercial and public gagawin natin, our plate will be an office building, no? So that is under this commercial and public buildings. So structure design efficient. The foundation of any construction project is rooted in the concept of design stage. In designing the environmentally optimal buildings, the objective is to minimize the total environmental impact associated with all the stages of the building project. However, building such structure is not an individual process and it varies from one building to another, never repeating itself identically. A variation of every design variable may affect the environment during the building's relevant life cycle stages. Isang malaking impact sa environment yung structure ng building, no? How you will build the structure of the building. If you are harming the environment while building that structure, you are not promoting sustainable design, no? Kung halimbawa nagkakalat ka ng semento, nagbubuhos ka ng semento sa second floor or third floor, tapos yung water from the cement is going to the drainage, that is not sustainable design. You are not environmental conscious, di ba? Kasi tinatapon mo yung semento na galing dun sa buhos mo, diretso sa drainage, magbabara yung drainage natin, di ba? So that's not sustainable design. And another is to make your building lightweight, di ba? Kapag magaang yung building mo, magaang din yung konti din yung kanyang mga structural parts na na mag-hold ng kanyang building kasi magaang lang yung building mo, lightweight lang siya. So hindi mo kailangan ng mga malalaking poste o malalaking beam kasi you are designing something that is very light, no? Yun ang objective palagi ng mga building natin na high-rise is to make it lighter so you can make it higher. Kapag mabigat yung building mo, you cannot make it higher kasi pag mabigat siya, kapag nag-sway siya, it will break kasi mabigat siya. So you need to make it lighter so that para pag nag-sway, hindi siya magbe-break, no? So ganun din kung gagawa ka ng building that you will use what you call a dampers or base isolators, you need to make it lighter, no? Para yung base isolator mo hindi masyadong malaki ang design, hindi masyadong mahal. Economically, it's affordable kaysa mabigat yung building. So those are things that you can identify or introduce or feature in your building so that it will be structure design efficient. Energy efficient, no? So reduces energy consumption during the daytime, no? And during the time of construction and completion. Pagka habang ginagawa mo yung building mo hanggang matapos yung building mo, you only use lesser energy. So if you are aiming to be a green building, you tabulate or you need to document the energy consumption during the building. And power generation is generally generally the most expensive feature to add on a building. Construction wood is more preferred compared to the concrete, steel, and brick, and it will have lower embodied energy than other materials. To reduce operating use of energy, high efficiency windows and insulation of walls, ceilings, and floor increase the efficiency of the building. So in order to make it energy efficient, you need to design it that the cooling system will not consume a lot of energy. Diba? Kasi kailangan mo i-maintain mo yung temperature sa loob ng mga rooms, no? So kailangan hindi mag-consume ng maraming energy para ma-maintain yung temperature ng mga rooms. So paano gagawin mo? Lalagyan mo ng insulation or use a energy efficient cooling system or a low consumption of energy cooling system, di ba? Or make your windows UV protected, di ba? Yung mga system para makabawas ka para magkaroon ka ng energy efficiency. Designers orient windows and walls and placing awning, porches, and trees to shade windows and roofs during the summer while maximizing solar gains in winter. In addition, effective windows placement can provide more natural light and lessen the needs of electric light during the day. So yung positioning ng building, how you will orient your building, how will you size up your windows will also help you in energy efficiency. So you need to orient your building properly so that it will consume lesser energy. Okay, so solar generation, on-site generation of renewable energy through solar power, wind power, hydropower, biomass can reduce the environmental impact of the building. So yun yung mga ginagamit natin. No? We use solar power o kaya hydropower or biomass in our renewable energy sa mga buildings if you can produce them. So water efficient, kailangan water efficient din yung building, no? Protection. Reducing water consumption and protecting water quality are key objective of sustainable building. Kailangan maganda yung quality of water. No? One critical issue of water consumption is that in many areas, demand of supplying water aquifer exceeds its ability to replenish them. Kasi minsan, ang demand natin kasi sa mga buildings natin, we use potable water on areas that doesn't need potable water. Kapareho lang ng pag-flush ng toilet. We don't need potable water sa pag-flush ng toilet, but we are buying water to flush our toilet, di ba? Or we are buying water to water our plants. Pero hindi naman kailangan sa pag-water ng plants is potable water. Potable water is the water that we buy from the utility provider. Yung mga Manila Water, any water provider, binibili natin siya pero ginagamit natin siya sa water ng ating plants, but we can use gray water to water our plants. We don't need potable water. So that is what you call you are overusing the supply of water in uses that are not preferred for that particular type of water, di ba? Kasi ang preferred natin sa mga washing the cars, di ba? Linis tayo ng kotse natin pero ginagamit natin yung tubig na binili natin sa Maynilad o sa Nawasa, di ba? That's not water efficient, no? Okay? Kasi pwede rin dito gumamit ka ng ultra low flush toilet or low flow shower heads, di ba? Yung mga mabagal lang ang flow ng water, no? Tapos watershed development will also reduce the water requirement from the outside. Minsan gumagawa tayo ng mga watershed, no, doon sa ating mga big sites. So kami malaki kang site, pwede kang gumawa ng watershed doon or water retention pond para doon mo kunin. Yun ang gamitin mo para doon ka kumuha ng gray water, di ba? Okay. Material efficiency. So building materials typically considered to be green include lumber from forests that have been certified as third-party forestry strand, rapidly renewable plant materials like bamboo, straw, dimension, stone, recycled metal, and products that are non-toxic, reusable, renewable, and recyclable. So meron tayong tinatawag na the EPA also suggests using recycled industrial goods such as coal combustion products, foundry sand, demolition debris in construction projects. So in selecting materials in your building and selecting materials that are sustainable and made from renewable green materials, that will make your building material efficiency. No? So kung gagamit ka ng materials that are marked as sustainable or green materials, you will now help in the sustainable goals of the government. So green building materials are selected on criteria as resource efficiency, indoor environment quality, energy efficiency, water conservation, affordability. Okay. So operation and maintenance optimization. So dapat dito how the building, no matter how sustainable the building, it's not its design, if it's not no matter how sustainable building is and its design is, if it's not maintained properly, it might not be the operational building. The addition of new green technologies also falls in the operation and maintenance. Although the goals of waste reduction may be applied during the design, construction, and demolition phases of the building life cycle, it is in the operation and maintenance phase that green practices such as recycling and air quality enhancements takes place. Malaki kasi kinukonsume natin na resources sa operations and maintenance. If you are specifying build materials that are not durable or not recyclable or not cleanable or you are specifying materials that are harmful to the environment or cannot be maintained or cannot be and materials that are not replaceable, that's not designing sustainability, no? Kailangan pag gumawa ka ng design, kailangan yung ginamit mong material will last a very long time na hindi mo siya papalitan. Hindi ka replace because if you replace it frequently, you are wasting money, you are wasting resources, and you are wasting energy, you are wasting that particular material because you will be throwing that materials after, di ba? Kasi sira na kaagad, no? Kapag ng mga lock ng pinto, kapag madaling masira, biro mo, ginawa yung lock ng pinto na yon using metal, and then you will throw it afterwards kasi sira kaagad. So try to specify things that are durable and low maintenance. Kailangan low maintenance ang materials mo na specify mo sa building. And you need to design it, no, that it will be it can be maintained, no? Kailangan pwede siyang repairable yung mga ilalagay natin na material so that you can extend the lifespan of the material of the particular part of your building. Kasi pag hindi repairable, hindi na maintain, tatapon mo na siya, no? Kapag bumili ka ng equipment, let's say you buy an air conditioning unit, pero galing siya sa bansa na malayo rito sa atin, let's say galing siya ng Argentina o kaya ng somewhere in South America na wala namang service center sa Pilipinas, that's not a wise decision because once it break down, hindi mo na siya magagamit. Although mura siya, nung initial cost is cheaper, pero in long run, you will need to buy another one, a new one, because you cannot replace or maintain it. So waste reduction, you need to reduce the production of waste from your building, no? Reduce waste of energy, water, and materials during construction. Habang ginagawa mo yung building, kailangan konti rin yung ginagamit mong tubig, konti yung ginagamit mong kuryente, konti rin yung tinatapon mo ng material during construction. Tapos during the use of the building, you also reduce the consumption of waste, di ba? Kasi kailangan yung mga waste na tinatapon mo are minimal. You minimize the waste that you throw, no? Karamihan dapat ng waste mo nire-recycle mo, di ba? Kailangan you are recycling your waste, like yung mga cardboards, yung water, yung mga packaging material, yung mga papel, yung mga plastics, no? You need to segregate and then recycle, di ba? So that you are reducing the waste, no? Cost and payoff is one of the most criticized point in the development of such buildings. The initial cost of development of such buildings may be 2 to 5% more than initial building in making it green. Mas mahal kasi talaga ang green buildings, no? Medyo mas mahal siya, no? Siguro may mahal siya ng mga at least mga 10% or 15% or maybe 2% ng ordinary building. Pero ang outcome dito, you have a return of 20 to 25% in 20 years, no? Sa katagalan mas matipid ka pa rin, no? Kasi nga you are using materials that are sustainable, you are using materials that are durable, you have lesser breakdown, no? You have you have savings in utilities, no? So mas marami ka pa ring nagigain, no? Even though malaki ang initial investment, about 2 to 5% or even more, no? Than the initial cost. Regulation and operation, so marami kasing agencies that regulates and certifies, no, your building as green or sustainable or LEED or verde or any agencies, no. So you need to yeah, these are the different agencies: the BREEAM in UK, IGBC in India, DGBN in Germany, CASB in Japan, Agenda 21 in UN, and Verde in the Philippines.